What's going on, everyone? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down today, Tuesday, August 3rd, 15-game MLB slate over on DraftKings. We're going to go through one by one, look at these matchups here and all 15 games on this slate. If that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out a ton. And I don't want you to miss out on any of this free content. I wouldn't be making these videos if I didn't think it was going to help you in your game. So let's start here with the first game on the slate. Phillies taking on the Nationals, 8 over under. You have Wheeler taking on Corbin. Wheeler, 9.7K, been one of the most consistent, pitchers so far this season. 30% strikeout rate here, 50% ground balls. He's just been elite, taking on a Nationals team who has kind of just been blown up after the trade deadline. Corbin on the other side, 6.8K, 16.3% strikeout rate here, 8% walk rate, which is fine for him. 44% hard contact, but really doing a pretty decent job at limiting fly balls, around 31% fly ball rate here. The one concern I have about Corbin is that right-handed batters are hitting 237 ISO off of him, so he's giving up a lot of power to the righties. Phillies currently right now a little bit banged up. My favorite bat for the Phillies today would be Hoskins at 4.8K. I think that's a really reasonable price. 269 ISO versus left-handed pitching. However, I don't know if he's actually going to make the lineup today. Real Muto's in the player pool here at 5.2K, but that's kind of pricey. I really think you can pay down today on especially a 15-game slate. Harper, of course, is in the mix, but Corbin's not a terrible pitcher. He hasn't been great. Even at that price, it's not that bad, but yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to get to any of the bats here. And Wheeler, of course, has been elite. So, other than Soto and maybe Bell, there really isn't too much, the Nationals have. I think there's going to be a lot of swing and miss stuff there. So I actually love Wheeler here. Corbin possibly in the mix, depending on how you build your lineups. And then Hoskins for sure if he makes the lineup today. Next, we have the Orioles and the Yankees. And oh boy, the New York Yankees really let us down last night. I'll tell you that much. 9.5 over under here. Yankees, the clear favorites. Wells taking on Cortez. Wells, 5.4K himself. He has a 16.7% strikeout rate here, 49% hard hit contact rate there. Gives up a ton of fly balls, 43% of the time in Yankee Stadium. That does not look good. Right-handed batters, 238 ISO off of him, so he's giving up a ton of power to righties. Cortez on the other side, 7K. Has looked pretty good in a small sample size, 30.8 strikeout percentage. Remember, small sample size, so I don't think that holds up, right? 41% fly ball rate, 35% hard hit contact, which isn't that bad. He'll probably go about 80 pitches today, and I think he's going to go a little bit over owned. So I'm probably going to fade him in GPPs and cash games. You probably should too, but some of the Orioles bats, I think in play, nothing too crazy. I really like Austin Hayes at 2.3K for his power upside. Mullins 4.6 had a huge game yesterday. Mountcastle at 3.2, just a little bit of savings off of Mancini. I think Mancini's fine too, but I like Mountcastle a little bit better because I'm trying to pay up for some of these other bats or some of the pitchers on the slate. So I don't mind getting there. One of these, Orioles one-offs or three-man stack. And then Yankees on the other side, really primarily interested in the right-handed batters against Wells. So that kind of leaves out, Gallo and leaves out some of the other lefties here, Rizzo, but more so interested in Judge, Sanchez, Stanton. I think the prices are fairly reasonable. I think they maybe go a little bit lower owned because of some of the new shiny toys that they have in their lineup here. But I think I'm going to avoid a full stack of the Yankees. Doesn't mean they can't get there. Just there's other spots, and I primarily play GPPs. So really just kind of some one-offs, some three-man stacks in this one. Next, we have the Indians and the Blue Jays, 8.5 over under. The Jays are favorited here. Plesac taking on Ryu. Plesac, 7.8K. Not a terrible price on him, just a really tough matchup. He's given up at least one home run in his last 7 starts. 10 home runs in those 7 starts. So really leaning on the Blue Jays side here because they have a ton of power, especially in the front of their lineup. Ryu, 8.7K. Better real life pitcher for sure. I think the strikeouts are somewhat coming up from the beginning of the season. 20.7% strikeout rate here. Excellent control, just has good stuff, knows how to pitch. 47% ground ball rate, really does a good job limiting the fly balls here. So that being said, Indians do have some pop, but they've been striking out a lot more lately, especially the last 15-30 days. So really leaning Ryu and Blue Jays bats. Blue Jays bats that are in play for me. Obviously, it's the big 4 here: Guerrero, Springer, Semien, and Bichette. I really like them a lot. You can punt at catcher to make a 5-man stack. But really these guys profile the best. I know like Teoscar Hernandez in there, Grishik. I like those guys more so against lefties. So really maybe just a 3-man stack here for the Blue Jays. I think you can definitely go 5-man if you'd like, but yeah, I think they're one of the top stacks today. Next, we have the Twins and the Reds, 8.5 over under. Reds favorited at home. Maeda taking on Molly. Maeda 8K against Molly, 26.5% K rate there. I think both are very kind of similar pitchers. They're somewhat consistent. Maeda limits hard contact. And then on the other side with Molly, he has a 9% walk rate there, 40% hard hit contact rate. He's been pretty good against left-handed batters. I will say that. Righties, he's giving up a lot more power there, 259 ISO against right-handed bats. So really interested in the righties for the Twins. Rooker at 3.6 looks pretty decent. He's kind of young, so I could see the inconsistencies there. Maybe I won't get there, but he's in the player pool. Polanco at 4.4 actually really do like a lot. Garver 4.4 as well. So no, a little bit risky. Price is a little bit up. So mainly looking at Polanco and Garver here. And then on the other side, like the lefties against Maeda, but he doesn't really give up a ton of home runs. Winker, Votto, Naquin, all in play here. Both of these starters, I don't really want to stack against, but they both teams have terrible bullpens. So this one's kind of a big question mark. And I'm just going to kind of wait and feel it out and right before lock. Next, we have the Mets and the Marlins, 7.5 over under. The Mets are favorited here. Walker taking on Garrett. Not really interested in the pitching in this one. Walker, 8.5K. It's a good matchup here, right? Against the Marlins in Marlins Park. 22.5% strikeout rate, which isn't great for that price point. 10.7% walk rate. Do not like that. He hasn't pitched 6 innings since June 20th, which is kind of a concern. And then on the other side, Braxton Garrett had a huge game his last time out. I don't expect that to happen again. The Mets aren't a bad team. They don't strike out a ton. They actually have been hitting a lot more home runs recently. Beware of the walks here for Garrett. So I'm just going to fade him. I know this is a good park for him, but some of the righties I think in play here, Alonso 5.7, nice power upside. Baez, similar, but I'd rather just get to Alonso. Drury, a nice punt play if you are just building some sort of 5X type of lineup here and you somehow land on Drury. I don't think he's going to kill you at that price. And then on the other side with the Marlins, like some of the righties are definitely in play, but I don't think they're going to make my player pool today. Next, we have the Mariners and the Rays, 8 over under here. Rays favored at home. Kikuchi taking on Patino. Kikuchi 8.8K. 27% strikeout rate here, does get a lot of ground balls 48% of the time. Walk rate sits around 8%. He's given up 8 home runs his last 6 starts. 217 ISO, giving up 2 right-handed batters. So he is giving up some power to righties. Kind of interested in maybe, 1 or 2 bats against him. On the other side, Patino 7.4. I think he'll be a little bit more over-owned than I'd like to get to today. That being said, I'm probably going to stay away, but it is 15 games. So, there's literally 30 pitchers to choose from. 26.7% strikeout rate here, giving up a lot of fly balls 50% of the time. The thing with Patino is he's young, he's inexperienced. The Mariners, yes, they're not a great offense, but they do have great bats here. The 3 bats I'm interested in against Patino would be Seager, Torrey, and Fraley. I think the prices are fine. Toro's been hitting, pretty well since the trade. Fraley, 3.6K. He's back in the lineup now. Had a good game there yesterday. So interested there. The other side, Rays, I think they're somewhat interesting against against Kikuchi. Again, Kikuchi, not really a guy I want to stack against, but he has been giving up some home runs and he does give up that power to righties. So a Rosarina leads it for me at 4.6K. I think that's fine. That's reasonable. Cruz 5.4. The price is up there, right? Franco 4.8. Zunino, I like a lot here at 4.1. He'll be hitting toward the bottom of the lineup there, but definitely some guys with some power. I just wish the Rays weren't as expensive, but again, these guys are in the pool. Next, we have the Red Sox taking on the Tigers. And man, when I saw this one, I saw the Red Sox were taking on Peralta. I got really excited. However, you know, the Red Sox are pretty pricey, and we'll get to that. So 10 over under here. Richards taking on Peralta. Richards K. Tigers have been hitting very well, so I'm just not going to get there. His 17% strikeout rate isn't all that great. 10.5% walk rate. Does get a lot of ground balls here, but he gives up a lot of hard hit contact. So Richards is a pass for me. Peralta on the other side, he's terrible. He stinks. 15% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate here. So just not going to get there. A really tough matchup for Peralta. Devers at 5.7, Bogarts, Martinez, all priced over 5K. I think they're in there. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get to some of these full stack Red Sox today. You know, Verdugo at 3.8, Renfroe 3.7. My thought process is when I saw those prices, I might lean towards, you know, getting some of these other teams that have a little bit better point per dollar value. And then you can go out and get a Devers as a one-off or a Bogarts as a one-off. Same thing with Martinez. So that'll probably be my strategy with the Red Sox. They're definitely in play though, for sure. Tigers bats kind of in play, more secondary option for me. Badu, Haas, Grossman, kind of, you know, in that range where they're kind of in the mix, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. Next game here, Angels and the Rangers, 8.5 over under. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about this one. Angels favorited, you know, ever since the trade deadline, both teams kind of depleted here. Suarez, I think, will actually pitch tonight, 6K, 20% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate, gets a lot of ground balls, gets hard hit quite a bit. Rangers, you know, they strike out, they struggle against lefties, but they haven't been as bad as people thought, even after the deadline. Lyles, 5.1K. I will say I do have some interest in Lyles. I know that sounds crazy, but this is an Angels lineup that just is basically a AAA team with Ohtani in the lineup. So he stands out to me, but Lyles 18.5% strikeout rate here, 42% fly ball rate. It's not all that great. He hasn't really pitched great all season, but he's been pitching better as of late. If you compare him with like a Zach Wheeler or an ace of your liking, and it really allows you to pay up for some of the bats. I'm not saying go out and get Lyles, but in deep GPPs, I think he's kind of interesting. Bats for the Rangers, Garcia at 3.4, I think has the most upside. I think he has some pop. I'm not going to hate if he gets into some of my lineups. Culberson at 2K, same thing. He might be hitting second. And then Heim, just a punt play at 2.4. But there's another catcher later on in the slate that I think might be one of the best point per dollar values on the slate. So all three of those guys kind of interesting. Ohtani as well. But primarily this game might just be a fade. Next, we have the Pirates and the Brewers, 9 over under here. Brewers favorited at home. Kranick taking on Hauser. Just not interested in Kranick. A really tough matchup here with the Brewers bats. Hauser at 7.6, kind of interesting against the Pirates. The Pirates, I don't know. They're fine, right? They're not a great team, but they don't strike out a ton. Hauser himself, 19% strikeout rate, 60% ground ball rate, just about. Does walk a decent amount of guys, so that's kind of the concern there. It's a 15-game slate. I don't think he's kind of necessary. You know, if it was a 7-game slate like last night or a 6-game slate, I think he'd be appealing at that price point, but not on this massive slate. I actually have some interest in Pirates bats as one-off. Gamble at 2.1 kind of saves you some salary. Polanco as well at 2.6. Castro at 2.9. Reynolds is fine too, but really just trying to look to save some salary as like a one-off here with some upside. And then on the Brewers, really like the Brewers here. You know, Kranick, not a special pitcher by any means. Their bullpen just got worse for the Pirates. So Escobar, Adames, Wong, Tellez, Taylor, I like a lot. That kind of separates you, gets you a little bit different. Garcia, but really love what this Brewers offense has been doing lately. They shouldn't really see any sort of problems here in tonight's matchup. Next, we have the Royals and the White Sox, 9 over under here. White Sox favorited at home. And before I talk about this game, and you made it this far, thank you. Make sure you hit that like button. make sure you subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Bubic taking on Cease. Bubic 5.8K, 19% strikeout rate here, 11% walk rate. Do not like to see that. Does get a lot of ground balls though. Cease on the other side, 8.4K. You know, he's kind of just been the same. You know, he's a tougher matchup against the Royals. I don't think the Royals strike out a ton, but you know, he's got that near 30% strikeout rate, near 10% walk rate, just probably going to fade him. Probably going to fade the Royals bats in this one. White Sox bats are kind of interesting. Abreu at 5.5, kind of a little too pricey, but some of the other bats here, Vaughn at 3.1, Engel, Hernandez, their new second baseman, 3.7K, I think is fine. Typically, the White Sox have been doing pretty well against left-handed pitching. Over the last 15 days, they've been hitting 215 batting average against lefties. So I might just fade them, and I might throw Bubic into the player pool in those deep GPPs. So interesting game to keep an eye out on for. Anyway, Braves taking on the Cardinals in this next one, 8.5 over under. Braves favored it here on the road. Fried taking on Leicester. Fried 8.3K, kind of more interested there over Leicester, but 24% strikeout rate here, 8% walk rate, 47% ground ball rate. Leicester on the other side, 14% strikeout rate, taking on a Braves team. This could be a tough matchup for him. Not interested in Leicester, not interested in Cardinals bats, to be honest, against Max Fried. So more so interested in Fried and maybe a Braves one-off or a three-man stack. Really like Soler. He's probably my favorite bat. Profile as well, nice against Leicester, 3.1K. Is not going to kill you in the salary department. Has that power upside. Albies at 4.7. Is probably going to lead off. Swanson 4K, but sometimes the Braves struggle against left-handed pitching. And I'm not saying go out and get John Lester, but Braves might be kind of a fade for me. And like I said, I like some of these guys as like one-offs here. Next, we have the Cubs taking on the Rockies. Oh boy, we have a Coors matchup here. 11.5 over under. Rockies favored. Davies taking on Freeland. Let's talk some game theory, baby. Davies 7.2K. Not really going to strike a lot of guys out. Is going to walk a lot of guys, 12% walk rate, typically 47% ground ball rate. Freeland's kind of a similar pitcher here at $1,000 cheaper. So more interested in Freeland. Yes, I said it. More interested in Freeland because the Cubs traded most of their team anyway. 17.6% strikeout rate here for Freeland. Decent amount of hard hit contact he's given up, but he is getting 46% ground ball. So these two pitchers are very similar. Just Freeland's $1,000 cheaper and he doesn't walk as many guys, not nearly as many guys. Cubs bats, Wisdom, Contreras, I think are in play. Other than that, you know, I know Ortega hit 3 home runs the other day. That's just kind of an anomaly. I don't like typically rostering players who this is their first game in the series in Coors. So that's kind of a fade for me. The ownership is going to be here. Both of these teams are going to be very popular. Salaries in this game are very cheap. Rockies bats, I don't mind Blackman at 4.1. I like the matchup here against Davies, but if you're playing GPPs, you're either going to stack this game or you're going to fade it. So for me, I'll probably fade it. I actually have some interest in Freeland in general, though. Next, we have the Giants and the Diamondbacks, 9.5 over under here. Cueto taking on Bumgarner. Giants favored it in this one. Nice little rematch, Giants versus Bumgarner. This will be exciting to watch. Cueto 7K, 21% strikeout rate. Not bad. He's got a pretty good matchup here. The one kind of blip in his statistics, I will say, is that he is giving up some power to left-handed bats, 215 ISO on the year. Bumgarner on the other side, 8.2K. I think he's just a little bit priced up. Really bad matchup for him. He's so inconsistent. There's games he'll go out and get you 20 to 30 points. There's games he'll get you -6. 22% strikeout rate here, 47% fly ball rate, giving up a lot of power to both sides of the plate. So I'm very interested in the Giants here. I think they're one of the best stacks on this slate. Yastrzemski at 4.1 is just way too cheap. Bryant 5K, Ruff 3.1. I really like him a lot. He's going to go very low owned. 329 ISO against left-handed pitching this season on a 15-game slate. Could be pretty sneaky value. However, he is a pinch hit risk later on in the game, so keep that in mind. Crawford at 4.6, Slater at 3K. There's more too. We'll see what the lineup comes out, how the Giants want to play this one, but I'm very interested there. Diamondbacks, you know, Calhoun 3.3K, Marte 4.2. Cabrera will be my favorite bat. I like him more so as a one-off at 2.9K. He isn't going to kill you. He has power upside though. We're really interested in the Giants overall in this one. Next, we have the Padres taking on the A's, 8 over under here. Snell taking on Manaea. Snell 8.9K. Strikeout rate is pretty nice. Tougher matchup here. 28.6% strikeout rate here. Near 15% walk rate, which is concerning. He just hasn't been good this season. 45% ground ball rate. Just not going to get there. Manaea on the other side, 9.4K. 15 game slate. I think people might be off of him. The Padres aren't as scary now that Tatis is out of the lineup. And Manaea kind of profiles well here. 16.6% strikeout rate here. I think that's fine. It's a little too, he's a little too pricey, but 32% fly ball rate. So he's doing a good job limiting fly balls, pitching at home, like that. Worse against left-handed batters. So he's overall in a pretty decent spot. Padres don't really have a lot of lefties to throw at him today. The one bat I like on the Padres would be Marisnick. I'm sure he's going to get the start at 3K. So he has a little bit of upside. A's on the other side. And this is I think this biggest savings on the slate. Yan Gomes is only priced at 2K. Just mashes lefties at 311 ISO here. Canna at 3.9. I think he's fine. He makes the player pool here, but really love Gomes, and I really like Manaea here. And then last game we have here is the Astros and the Dodgers. Very interesting game here. I'm really excited for this series. 8.5 over under here. Dodgers are favored here. Lance McCullers taking on Buehler. McCullers 9.1K. Really tough matchup here for him. 29% strikeout rate, has looked pretty good. 11% walk rate. Does get a lot of ground balls, is hard hit a lot. He is going to be away. Buehler on the other side, 10.9K. He's just Mr. Consistent this year. He doesn't give up a ton of home runs. He's consistently getting 20 to 30, DraftKings points every week. 26% strikeout rate here. However, tough matchup. Astros are dead last in strikeouts over the last 15 days. And just in general, over the whole season, Astros just aren't striking out a ton. Let's talk some bats. Alvarez, Altuve, Correa, Tucker, Brantley. I have some interest in this. I'm not going to full stack this, right? However, I just wanted to get their names on there because look how cheap they are. Point per dollar wise, this could save you some salary. Tucker at 3-1 might be my favorite bat for the Astros because of the matchup. It's tough. DraftKings is really trying to pull you in here because Buehler really isn't a bad pitcher and the Dodgers have a pretty good bullpen. So I'm probably not going to get to some Astros unless I'm building like 20 teams, which I might be tonight. The prices are very, very tempting. And then on the other side with the Dodgers, I more so lean this way. Turner 4.6 is really cheap. Muncy 5.2, Smith 4.2, all really cheap bets. Seager in the mix as well. McCullers is a high variance pitcher. So he's going to either, go out there, get you 9 strikeouts and go 6-7 innings, or he's going to go 3.2 innings. He's going to give up a couple home runs. He's going to give a bunch of walks up. So I'm kind of interested on the Dodgers side of things tonight. They might go low owned in general. And yeah, that'll do it. My name's Tim Williams. Thank you for watching. Good luck in your contest today. I really do hope this video helped you, and I think it will. So make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Comment below. Follow me on Twitter, Tim Williams DFS. I'm over there. Ask me anything you want. Let's talk some baseball. Take it easy. Peace out.